People often criticize game developers because it seems like they make decisions for the game, like with skill-based matchmaking, aka SBMM, without actually understanding the game as well as the players. It seems like this because it is true. Professional gamers definitely play Apex much more than any developer at Respawn, but so do the gamers who consider Apex to be their primary hobby, like myself. It's a small sample size, but the other day one of the developers at Respawn posted his Apex Legends rank of Bronze 1, which implies he stopped playing ranked for a few splits. When a developer is working on the game, they aren't playing the game. They have to play the game after working for the most part, I assume, but since the game is their work, playing the game is like working, so mentally, it might not be fun for them to play the game for more than a few minutes each day. I have a unique perspective of the SBMM in Apex Legends because in Season 11 I played around the same number of games on Xbox and PC. I made it to Diamond in both while playing solo. I played a lot of pubs on both recently as well. I would say my SBMM experience is very typical for long-time players of Apex. I'm not naturally good at video games or using controllers, but I'm above average in Apex simply because I play a lot and watch pro players. My Apex Legends skill level is achievable by probably like 75% of FPS gamers who play a lot of Apex. Skill-based matchmaking punishes players like myself the most out of any category. So it punishes naturally average players who are good because they play a lot, but who are not gaming gods. So the more you play Apex, the more SBMM punishes you and makes the game not fun. As a business model, this is broken. SBMM in Apex is geared toward new players. It wants to protect these players from experienced players so they aren't discouraged, which is understandable. I actually think some level of SBMM, even in the public lobby, is absolutely necessary, but once a player becomes experienced, the public lobby should not have strong SBMM. The matchmaking in teams should be created mostly based on ping and be randomized. Instead, ranked mode should be used to protect lower skilled players. After my rant, I'll discuss some alternatives to the current SBMM system in Apex. On console, I complained a lot about SBMM, but on PC, the SBMM in the public lobby makes Apex unplayable for solos. So far, it actually seems that the median PC player is much newer to the game than the median console player. When I was playing through Platinum, I was amazed by the number of mouse and keyboard teammates I had that seemed like they had been playing for only 1 or 2 seasons. The worst thing by far about SBMM is that it gives good players bad teammates. Because of the smaller player base, the bad teammate problem is probably more toxic on PC. Compounding this is that PC players care less about their stats and are more aggressive, so your bad teammates die in the first 2 minutes simply because they are bad, but when you get a decent teammate, he also dies in the first 2 minutes simply because he plays like a madman. I would say the early season Platinum ranked games on PC are sort of like how people play on console pubs at my SBMM level, not in terms of skill, but in terms of how sweaty and carefully people play. When I first started on PC, it wasn't like this. Since my account was new, I was getting decent teammates, but since making it to Diamond, my teammates on PC have been pretty bad. I would say like 90% of the time I get at least one teammate who instantly dies to whoever they first encounter, and like 65% of the time both of my teammates are like this. In console pubs, it's rare for both teammates to be new. You typically get at least one teammate who is at least average. I feel bad for PC players, which includes myself now. It isn't sustainable since I don't have friends to play with. Diamond ranked games are too sweaty and boring to play all of the time, which leaves pub games, but both of my teammates are usually knocked within the first 2 minutes in pubs and leave the game early. If the game developers played their own game in both pubs and ranked for at least 15 hours per week and didn't play in a pre-made squad, they would surely know that their SBMM system is broken in pubs and know how to fix it. SBMM is designed to attract and retain new players, but what happens when new players become experienced players? Their bad SBMM system forces them to quit. How does this make business sense? Respawn needs a system that attracts and retains new players and retains older players. My first solution is the following. Currently, when you're knocked in Apex and then immediately leave the game, your KD is not negatively affected. So this gives players an incentive to play very aggressively since they know it won't affect their KD ratio if they die, since they can just leave early. Leaving early after being knocked can greatly boost your KD ratio because what you can do is play aggressively, and if you get a kill, continue playing, and then when you get knocked, you just quit. So on your KD ratio, the kills increases, but the deaths do not. So your KD ratio is actually boosted if you play Apex or pubs like an idiot. Not only should leaving early after being knocked be counted as a death for the KD ratio, but I think leaving early for any reason should count as a death, unless your teammate has your banner but can't get you back into the game. This change would greatly help with the bad teammate problem in Apex. My second solution is greater rewards for playing pubs and ranked the right way. I was thinking that maybe the top 3 teams in a game should receive a very small amount of crafting material or Apex coins. It doesn't have to be a lot. With this change, there will be more people playing for positioning and playing for endgame. What is the point of ranked mode? Why can't new players play in bronze to be protected from good players, or even a special version of bronze meant for completely new players? Isn't that the whole point of ranked mode? They need a special version of bronze, let's call it stone or wood, that is explicitly and visibly only accessible to brand new players. And it needs to kick smurfs out automatically. I think that if you get more than like 5 kills on wood, you should automatically be sent to the lobby, and if you are too good, the special playlist just becomes unavailable. These new players should play in stone or wood games before playing in pubs and regular ranked mode until like perhaps level 50. The other change they need to make is make it much more difficult to make it out of low ranks for both new and bad players, and easier for good players. So they need to probably at least double the amount of RP needed to climb from bronze 4 to platinum 1. They need to actually have an RP cost in bronze so that bad players don't graduate to silver too fast. This change would mean that new players can be protected from good players in ranked mode almost the entire season, instead of using pubs to protect these new players using a bad SBMM system. So this means that Respawn can lower the SBMM in pubs, since ranked mode would be used to protect new players instead. They could perhaps raise the RP cap in lower ranked levels so that good players make it out faster. If you are averaging 5 kills on silver and sometimes getting 10 kills, then you are not a silver skilled player in reality. The RP cap is preventing this player from moving to gold faster, which makes it less fun for actual silver skilled players. Another thing preventing this hypothetically good silver player from graduating to gold is SBMM in ranked mode. So the developers know about this issue, but their lame solution is SBMM in ranked mode. They give this diamond skilled player in silver the worst possible teammates to try to even out the lobby and make it more fair. This just keeps this good player in silver longer. Instead, what they need to do is allow this player to get out of silver as fast as possible via his natural skill. To protect new players in ranked mode, instead of in pubs via SBMM, bronze, silver, and gold ranks need to be populated with actual bronze, silver, and gold players. And it needs to prevent bronze, silver, and gold players from easily getting to platinum or diamond. In arenas, we know that Respawn has a special MMR system that matches you against similarly skilled players no matter what rank level you are in, so if you are in platinum, you might get matched against diamond players. I had a chuckle when I read the description of MMR, since it positions itself as making matches more fair by giving you extra RP points if they match you against a higher ranked player, but in reality what happens is that you are matched against good players of the same rank, so you still have to sweat and don't get rewarded with higher RP. This RP system is in the BR mode now as well, and the same thing happens. The MMR system is actually on the whole team as well, which means it nerfs good players by giving them bad teammates, just like in pubs. Having to carry bad teammates is the worst thing about SBMM, so you don't get extra RP for being in platinum or carrying gold or silver skill players, but maybe you should. This MMR system that is explicitly and publicly in the ranked arenas mode is also in the ranked BR mode. Respawn just hasn't made it public, but people who play Apex a lot know this to be true. I noticed a jump in difficulty in gold rank games recently, and not just during the beginning of the season where gold players are actually D-ranked diamond and plat skill players. This is probably because the game is matching me against only other good gold players and or giving me low skilled teammates. That is why they recently changed the RP system so that if you kill a higher ranked player, the RP gain is higher, and if you kill a lower skilled player, the RP gain is lower, just like in arenas. Superficially, this new RP system is supposed to make you feel better about matching up with higher skilled players because of SBMM in ranked mode, but in reality what is happening is that the SBMM in ranked mode just matches you against good players in the same rank, or gives you bad teammates to nerf you. You don't get extra RP for either of those. After winning a few games, I noticed that a lot of times I would get a much lower ranked teammate, like 6 levels below me. Like if I'm on plat 1, I might get a gold 4 teammate, or I might not get any teammate. Think about that. What possible reason is there to often put me in a ranked game while missing a teammate? Wouldn't it be easier to simply not put me in the game at all if I'm missing a teammate in ranked mode? A lot of you remember when it was impossible to play duos after they allowed the no-fill option because you would always be missing a teammate regardless of whether you checked the no-fill option. What you didn't realize is that if you made a new account, you would not have this problem. New accounts could get the teammate filled in duos. It was only older accounts that could not. This is because of SBMM. After introducing the no-fill option, their SBMM algo went haywire, and they kept removing a teammate from experienced players to balance the teams. So when someone selects the no-fill option, obviously their team is going to be very weak. So to balance this out, the SBMM algo was removing a teammate from good players. So the reason that you are missing a teammate in pubs and ranked mode is likely at least partly due to SBMM, which seems unfair to me. Now, the developers at Respawn don't understand why their SBMM system is disliked so much because they simply don't play their own game enough. They need to think long term. The mentality of game developers has traditionally been focused on the first year of release, not on a long service life cycle. In service industries, they don't sacrifice their relationships with old, loyal customers for new customers. If I've been going to a car mechanic for 5 years and then all of a sudden I notice that he's lying and trying to cheat me, I'm never going back to that mechanic again. That is what SBMM is. It's lying and cheating the loyal player base. As a result, they are going to leave. It's just common sense. People who play online competitive games want a fair playing field. How is it that game developers don't understand this? The reason is that they are bad businessmen and they don't play their own game. The Apex community needs to be more vocal about SBMM. In particular, they need to stop spending money on the game. There's a chance that the developers might misinterpret this by focusing even more on newer players, but there really isn't an alternative strategy. Money is the only thing they will listen to. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe.